As a newcomer to the Age of Sigmar, I watched the Blacktalon TV series and I was immediately drawn to their action figures. I quickly made room to this impressive golden team on my shelves. In my idea, stormcast Eternals should be the Age of Sigmar's equivalent of Space Marines and or Custodes, but in the case of the Blacktalons, they look to me more like Special Operations team. For sure there is a nice variety of figures of different sizes and look. We will see how all this gold will look in practice. We have accessories and decoration to break the monotony, and even a flying elf while we wait for eldars in the Warhammer 40k lineup. Enough of boxes, let's see inside. The packaging is completely in line with what we are used to with JOYTOY. We have the plastic sandwich protecting our figures and accessories, including weapons and additional sets of hands. Of course, each of them has different sets, but once we unpack all of them, they are consistent with the TV show. And Rostus, the big guy on the left, and Lorai, the slender elf on the right, are the opposite in terms of both physical and weapon sides. Let's take a look at Neave blacktalon. I'm curious about the pauldrons articulations, and I'm glad they are using a mechanism similar to the latest Warhammer figures. Look here, no problems with horizontal raises. The nice pauldrons can rotate together with the arms, which of course have to deal with the pauldron designs, but when posing them for combat, the issues are quite limited. The situation is quite better for legs. They are able to move without any hindrance, with those double joints at the knee. And also because of the armor sculpture, of course. And those leather-like strips are soft plastic, they look cool and pose without any problem. Neave comes with two heads, and both have to deal with a hairtail on the back. It is not really a problem unless you want to go full circle, of course. And on the back we have this fur-like cape made of soft plastic. Between the back and the cape there is a harness for storing Neave's arbalaster. It is a bit hard to secure it in place, and I have to hit the peg hole every time before trying it. All in all, Neave looks and feels amazing. I'm quite happy with her. Shakana is the sneaky archer of the group, and by default she has the hooded head, which to be honest looks brighter than her skin and hair color. The cape is the most striking feature, for me at least, and it is made of 3 parts to reduce the impact on the articulations. For all intents and purposes, the rest of the armor and its articulations are on the same level with Neave. There are some aesthetic differences here and there, of course, like the pauldrons designs, the black gauntlets and the hip-level tabards, but it is essentially the same body type with all pros and cons. Besides the large crossbow we will look at later, she has this companion eagle with covered eyes. The cover cannot be removed, but a plastic stand is included to simulate the eagle standing on a tree branch. Cool. The silverwolf, Hendrik, was apparently the order leader of the group before Neave took command. Now he is the wise advisor, and the armor design is quite similar, even if he has a more manly armor design and a bulkier body. This male body is a tiny bit larger than the female one, and it has different sculpt differences. But for articulations I think that it is pretty much on the same spot again. They should be able to pose without any issues. Fun enough, among the 4 stormcast Eternals, he is the only one where the left pauldron is not shaped in the form of an animal head. Rostus is the big guy of the group, and he comes with a much larger shape, with bare muscular arms and these bull-like horns on the back. He's huge, I mean, he is the Terminator of the group, and it feels like that. The helmeted head is simpler than Hendrik's, but quite a peculiar one, while the bare arms can move quite nicely thanks to the double joint articulations on the elbow. Joints are not that evident, unless you really want to pay attention to them. By the way, I love those glorious helmets. They have a lot of gravitas in their look, reminding me of the Roman cavalry parade helmets. And lastly, we look at Lorai, our she-elves with the lovely title of Child of the Abyss. Apparently she is a mercenary supporting the group with magic, but not to the point of dying herself. She has a cool shaved head, with a veil covering the lower face, which looks awesome. No real armor, but a tiny body frame with a nice cape and soft plastic sleeves. The hands have also these nice poses for doing magic tricks. To be honest, I was undecided if to get her, but I must say now that she looks like a great addition. Lorai comes with a scepter that is probably in line with her people's culture. To me, it looks like a rake with flutes attached to it. It is nicely made, and the pole does not look like it is going to bend easily, which is something I always fear with this kind of tools. Then we have the crossbow from Neave that is even actionable. You also have small arrows to fit in place, and the mechanism, you can see, it works perfectly. It is an unexpected play feature that some people will surely like. Shakana's crossbow is very similar in functionality, but it is quite noticeably larger. Same mechanism and also arrows to plug in place, ready for the shot. But it is not just shooting here. We have these golden axes. Neave comes with their trademark twin axes that look almost identical, if not for some minor differences that I will leave you to identify. Hendrik instead comes with a single axe and a long sword, because he is a man of culture, but of course he also enjoys close combat. Finally, Rostus, the big guy, cannot miss his big hammer. No frills, just crushing Sigmar's enemies. So we have weapons for all occasions and tastes. And before I forget, we have the bare head options for Rostus and Hendrik that are very nicely made, with properly straight eyes even. Maybe they are a bit too shiny, but nothing difficult to fix. The same for Neave and Shakana. To be honest, Neave's sad expression and paint job reminds me of Pierrot, but I'm sure that a lot of people will enjoy these renditions of their favorite characters in their shiny glory. And talking about glory, it is time to keep our Stormcast Eternals and put them on a rotating stand for radiating their badass charisma to the internet. And they look quite glorious indeed. The combination of golden look, the sculpt and the additional accessories and the many hand options really allow for some great posing here. Okay, they are quite static in the rotating stand, but I can assure you that if you like action figures battle poses, you will enjoy these ones. And Shakana and Rostus also have their moment of glory. That hammer is huge and scary, while our sneaky archer has an awesome cape. I love all of those details, and it is not even too heavy, as usually plastic capes are, especially when they are so full of details. After playing with them, I must say that they are great renditions of the TV show. This is a great work, both in terms of painting and engineering. One of the best set of action figures so far from JOYTOY. The golden paint will have benefited from more inking and or dry brushing, like the 40k Custodes, but that is my personal taste. If I stick to the art style of the TV show instead, I think that this kind of paint job really suits them. We will see if I will be tempted to give them some touch-ups in the future, but for now I like them as they are. I did not find any particular quality issues, either in the paint or in the joints. Everything moves smoothly and looks great. I think that those basic bodies could even be a great basis for custom figures. Tempting. Well, for now what I can tell you is that this is... if you like the TV show or the original miniatures, you will enjoy these ones. And finally we get to the comparisons, where we can have no surprises with Rostus being the biggest, while Shakana looks to be the shortest of the group, mostly because of the head and because we need to introduce Lorai, that looks quite tiny compared to the rest of the people. Hendrik looks a bit shorter than a champion like Sigismund, no surprises here, same for Neave that looks great but not as big as our first captain, and Lorai, that can compete for charisma but not for the hate. Let's bring in some older figures like the Bladecar captain and an Emperor's champion. Black Templars are cool, but not the tallest Space Marines for sure, and the Ultramarines company champion is not much different, other generations. and our Arcadians must also admit that Stormcast Eternals belong to another league. I do not often pull Grey Knights in my videos, so let's see how Draigo fares compared to Hendrik. Well, still workable, and Baldus too can still hold his own. Good job. And talking about Terminators, Rostus finally can make some friends, while Hendrik is a bit towered by the Aquilon Terminator. And why not also give a moment of glory to the Orc Commandos and the Tyranids that were screaming in the background. And they look menacing. And let's also add some simple Stormcast Eternal that I customized by simply changing the head of Neave's body. Well, as you have seen, these Stormcast Eternals are not huge figures, and they can still play nicely with other JOYTOY releases, more or less. I was thinking to use them as a replacement for Custodes, but they are too cool as they are. I have created my personal Black Talon team with an additional guest. Once you arrange them with battle poses and ready to strike, they really make a good impression. And since you have options for both helmeted and non-helmeted heads, and quite a variety of weapons and hands, you can really personalize your displays according to your tastes. For now I will be displaying them with their helmeted options, but the bare heads are also great options. I am really undecided. But given how unique the helmets are, I will stick with them. I think that I'm going to build a diorama base for them too, a bare rock place where their bright colors will pop up a bit more. But let's get to the conclusion since the video is becoming too long. They are excellent figures from a technical point of view, great painting and articulations, and a lot of posing options because of accessories, head options and gesture hands. If you are an Age of Sigmar collector, I think that you will probably grab the entire set. Hopefully we will see more in the future. I would love to get angry dwarves one day. But until then, this is what we have as action figures. Otherwise, you can pick what you like for your headcanon. You have plenty of options for all cases. Personally, my favorites are Neave and Hendrik. They really look great badass warriors for any occasion. And having said that, I wish you a nice rest of the day reforging them on your shelves.